Fetch me their souls!
Alright, so if you didn't guess, we're playing new format zombies. It's really good, so we'll start with the monsters, of course. So you run 3 uni-zombie, this is mandatory. Unclogs your hand and it mills from the deck, obviously. And then in the same vein, we run the Gozukis, just more mandatory cards. We run the Solitaires to get to the uni-zombies or your Glow Blooms if you've already got a uni-zombie. And that's the kind of standard stuff that is just agreed upon. And then I run 2 Mizuki. I don't see many lists running Mizuki. I really like it in this though because with Zombie World this is literally just Monster Reborn. And it's just another good target to send off your uni-zombie if you've already got your Balladrock or your Bloom set up, so he's really good. The same with the Banshee. To be fair, this probably should be your first priority of sending off uni-zombie if you haven't already got the Terraforming or the Zombie World itself. This card's actually nuts. And then we run the 2 Bloom as well, just the 2/2/2 line up on these. These are all perfectly good when you open them because you've been in with uni-zombie or whatever you've got going on. Bloom's really good as well to get off your Hulk, and you can link climb like that and get your free Balladrock, of which we run 2. This card's actually cracked. A lot of people misread this card who aren't familiar with the deck and think it's either or, but no, it's both. It's a Dragoon 8, it's just absolutely mental. And then a card I really like in this is Jacko Bulan. If you don't know what it does, you discard a zombie. No, sorry, yeah, you discard a zombie monster. So Eldritch, you summon him, and then you can sort of like Omega him. He goes away until the end phase, and you can revive a zombie from either grave, but it's banished when it's next leave the field. So it's really good like that. And then unfortunately, we do have to run 2 Eldritch, the Golden Lord, but we don't use it in the sort of standard boring way that a lot of like the Eldritch Dogmatica or the Lich Dogmatica Zoo lists do, because the spells actually have other text on them other than summon this, which we'll get into now. So that's it for the monsters. Onto the spells and traps, we run 2 Zombie World and a Terraforming. You could run 3. The ratio really is you want to try and have 5 of any of these. So any sort of variation on that is fine. I do like 2 and 2 though, because you'll find that this is often dead later in the game and it can clog up your hand early game. We run, of course, the 3 Eldland and the 2 Black Eldlix and 1 White. The Eldland is standard, you're running an Eldritch Engine. The black and white Eldlixes are brilliant because a lot of people forget that these can summon any zombie as long as Eldritch is on the board, so you can literally do your Eldritch setup and then just summon this from the deck or summon uni-zombie or whatever you need. It's actually like really broken. And then because you don't actually need the extra that much in this deck, you only have a certain pool of cards that you go into. You can run 3 Prosperity. I'm not keen on extravagance in this because I think you sort of want to see quality over quantity, so Prosperity fits that bill very nicely. And then onto the traps. We run 3 Sanguine, again like the old Elixers. Well, it's an old Elixir itself, but just in trap form. You can summon any other zombie you want, so it's great on their turn to summon Balladrox and whatnot. 3 Conquistador, just the best golden land card, and 2 Hakero. You sort of want these more than in a sort of standard Eldritch build. So what I mean is these will get actual impactful cards. So these can search something that isn't the Sanguine. You can search the spells, for instance, and they're actual like combo starters for you when you already have the Eldritch set up. They're not just sort of ploughing through the same thing every turn, so they're really good. So yeah, that's the main deck. It's around 40 cards. So for the extra deck, it's like really subjective apart from a few like staples. So you have to run Vampire Sucker in some capacity. I run 2. You could even arguably run 3 with Extravagance if you want. I'm not a big fan, but this card's absolutely brilliant. It nets you a plus whenever a zombie's reborn. That's for your opponent as well, which they will be due to Zombie World. Can get you back stuff and just get a plus. It's amazing. It's really good. And a lot of people forget as well, this has a continuous effect where you can actually tribute summon zombie monsters using your opponent's cards. So if you have an Eldritch or a Balladrock in your hand, you can literally just tribute their board, and they can't respond to it because it's a tribute summon, and it's just the most like annoying kick in the balls form of removal. Then we run 1 Avenger Saviour. This card isn't very good. It just mills a card when it battles, but it's fine for getting your Balladrox into the grave if you've spent your suckers or for some reason your sucker player's been stopped or negated or something, so it's fine for that reason. For the other sort of generic links, we run 1 Link Spider. This is because you run the Eldritch Traps, which are obviously normal monsters, and this can help you climb into stuff like your Boral Sword or your Appaloosa. 1 Halka Fibrax. This is brilliant to climb into your blooms or whatever you need. IP, you tend to sometimes have bits of junk left over on the board, so you can make this and get more interruptions. Phoenix, Unicorn, standard. Appaloosa, Borrow Sword and Access Code just because I have the space, and it does depend on like what the situation is. So you'll make this with Unicorn most of the time, but if that's not game, you can just get a big Chong in Eldritch and the Borrow Sword will be enough. The last link is the Yuki Owner, the Absolute Zero Ice Mayakashi. This card's absolutely brilliant. Basically, when an effect is activated in the graveyard or in the banished zone, you can buy a zombie monster, which there will be because of Zombie World. You can negate it, and that's twice per turn. Sorry, you can't negate it. You can negate a card on the field and a monster on the field and turn it to 0, which is just amazing. It's such like a counterpunch that people don't expect. I don't believe it's once per chain either. No, it's not, and it's twice per turn as well. So you can even bait negates with it by doing it twice, which is just broken. We then run for Xyz. One of this, Crimson Knight Vampire Bram. This card you make with the zombie Conquistador and Hekeros because they're level 5 zombies. Basically it's just a reborn from your opponent's grave, and that monster can't attack, but it also floats, and it can actually be really annoying to try and kill. But I mainly run it just so I've got some more food for the last card in the extra deck. But the penultimate card is the Gustav Max. It's Eldritch list, you can make this. Winning time, get some extra damage in before you go for game, and then of course you run the Zeus. That's the main reason why you run these. It's just being able to access this card in any capacity. It's just completely unrivaled, this format. The card's broken. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. So let's get into a little combo tutorial. Alright, so this is just a sort of basic one, and it's pretty much any sort of delineation of these two of these cards. So we'll just do the sort of most simple version, which will be, say, Uni-Zombie and either one of these, I suppose. So we'll just go with the Banshee. So what you want to do is you want to normal summon your Uni-Zombie, use his effect and discard your Banshee. You can then activate your Uni-Zombie effect again, changing its level again and milling from deck, and then you can chain your Banshee to banish. And then from here you can mill a Glow Up Bloom, which effect triggers your banish. Oh, it doesn't trigger, you get your Banshee first, which gets your Zombie World up, and then the Bloom triggers, of course, and because Zombie World is up, you get to special summon your guy. You summon your Baladrock. This is a pretty decent board on its own, and if you have any other extenders, you can just keep the Baladrock like this. But you can then turn these two into your Vampire Sucker. And then during the standby phase, because there's a field spell card in any zone, your Baladrock will revive itself, of which you will draw a card off your Vampire Sucker. So that's just a pretty cool 2-card combo that ends up being a +2. Like I said, there's many different ways to do it. Opening Gozuki and the others does it as well. You've got a lot of ways to get to it, Solitaire and whatnot, and yeah. And though you can combine that then by sort of having Mizukis as well, or even your Jakabulans to get stuff in the grave. If you go in second, you've got your Eldritch, which can do that. And then of course you've got your Eldlixers, which can put stuff out of the deck for you and whatnot. So a sort of sucker setup with a Baladrock in their standby phase with a draw, and then say like that in the back row is really strong with Zombie World face up as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool deck.
Sleep good tonight.
Don't you touch my drum! Zombie! Zombie!